and welcome to Higher Ground. We're here at TC Media Studios in Olympia. It's the 4th of December 2024. And I think we have an incredibly exciting show for you today, and you'll see as we're looking at Eunsil's artwork. And I want to introduce you to Eunsil Kim. Welcome, and it's great for us to be able to do what we're doing today.
Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. In fact, we were talking about this earlier. So it was the Washington Center for Performing Arts, the beginning of Arts Walk, that you had pieces on display. You had a show with 3 other photographers. And as we were talking, you were open to, let's do a show and really to feature and highlight the work that you've done. So could you tell us about how you got started, perhaps, with your art?
So I start with a design. That was my first major, so interior design. And in studying there, one of the requirements I have to take a 3D art classes. My option was either sculpture or pottery, and the sculpture was a little bit intimidate me, so I took pottery class. And then that time, my instructors, Deanna Pini, she gave us 1 pound of clay and let us sit on the wheel and work on. And I thought that 1 pound of clay it's 1 pound of clay. I'm 100 some. I thought I can handle that 1 pound of clay. So I was working on it, and no, that 1 pound of clay took me, and it went its own way. And I keep coming back, keep struggling with that 1 pound of clay, and keep struggle. And entire semester, I'd be able to make only 1 pieces. And then, so I'm still playing that 1 pound of clay, and then I'm still struggle with that, but this is the work I made from the 1 pound of clay. So we talk about the show at the Washington Performance Center. That show was a clay mask with a photographic. The title was a mask, but it's more like my kind of self-portrait kind of way. Mm-hmm. So,
excuse me, and this is an example of what you had.
Those are pieces, that's the clay mask, and then that's the photographic I took. As we know, we wear masks everywhere we go. Sometimes I wear a mask in different place, in different situation, and different job title. Sometimes I be potters as artist, and sometimes I do teacher's mask. Sometimes I do like wife or daughter, Asian Americans, and that kind of mask. So the whole idea when I created this clay mask, influenced by Picasso's portrait painting, because Picasso, when he painted these portraits, the woman's face, tried to have a multiple expression on the one painting. So that's why when you look at it, his portraits of a woman, those paintings have a different kind of size or different panel of the face on there. So I study my face. I look at the make face like angry face, sad face, exciting face, or kind of goofy face. I kind of studied how my eye move, how my nose flare up, how my lips work, or how my cheek move, or sometimes my ear. And then I start to sketch them and composite all that emotion in the one mask. So when you look at my mask, clay mask, it looks kind of not realistic mask because all this images in there, But to my viewpoint, it's super realistic mask because all those the eye movement, all those how the nose flare up, or the even like yeah, it's all from my face. And then just like when you wear, just like the real life, when you put the mask on yourself, you go different place, and as your own mask in that way. So I decided to take my clam mask, go around, mostly in the Washington State, actually all in the Washington State, from the Pacific Ocean to all the way to the Spokane's and areas, and then south to the Columbia rivers. And I didn't really stage how I took these photos, which means sometimes, you know, some artists, they want to make better photographs. They kind of put the props or lightings and filters. No, I didn't do any of those. And sometimes I have to work with the weather. It's rainy day or windy. So I just want to see how my mask work with that environment, what's going on in that time. So I took it. So even though when I come home, I didn't do any photo editing. So I didn't change the colors or lightings and that because I want to keep that emotion in the photograph. So this piece is right here. It was a rainy day. Literally, tide was coming in and the rain is water is dropping on the sky. I had to rest my pieces and run out. So I had a great time taking that photo, but I think it captured very well, to my viewpoint, of that whole mood of my mask. So when I make that mask, I was kind of feeling sad, kind of angry, kind of gloomy. Because I started making my mask slight before pandemic, and then I started making more during the pandemic. And then during the pandemic, as we know, there's a lot of hate crime towards Asians happening. It happened before. It just never out, and not never. There is always some, but it's not really that much of a big news. And the news media really didn't show or tell us what's going on. But during the pandemic, it showed more. And and then it started to make me feel like, what's going on? So, and then when you quarantine yourself with that kind of sad influence from your community, to me, this is how my way to dealing my emotions and feelings and social awareness. So, so that piece is kind of captured, to my viewpoint, kind of sad, but also want to bring some hope. So I played some colors, but to me, it have that feeling. So when I take that mask, went to that site, taking the photos, I thought it was working very well together.
Sounds like, yeah, considering the weather and
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
conveyed here.
So I made more mask pieces featured at Washington Center for Performing Art. It was 13 pieces, and then it was throughout, I think, about 7 years work. And then in those 7 years, there's a lot of things that happens, as we all aware. So I'm glad that I'm potter, I'm a clay artist, because it made me sane.
That always helps.
Yeah. So that's kind of what that show about.
And hopefully we'll get a chance to do another show, because I was thinking about that, is to kind of highlight. I know you've taken photos, we can bring all the pieces together, but to really have them, and they just were on display for the last month, wasn't it?
Yes.
So that was wonderful.
Yeah, I just took it down yesterday.
Yes.
So I have other pieces here. It's kind of some of them work my current work. Some of them, those two pottery pieces here. That's my somewhat old pieces. It's the whole idea is behind, especially these two pieces. When you walking on the forest, you see dead trees on the ground or all over. I mean, we living in Washington. That's one of our very good advantages because we have a beautiful natures, and so when we call nursing log. Have you heard that term?
No.
So, which means when the tree's down, there's another things coming up from there.
Right.
This is I did a show before, Rebirth series. So it's two pieces from that show. I kept it because I could sell, but I wanted some of the pieces for myself because I have a personal attachment. This piece is right here. It's a moss growing out from the dead trees, and then that's a very symbolism of hands holding small baby. It's almost fitting in your palm size. And then this idea about the rebirth, how our nature's embracing our death or negative ideas or illness, how our nature's embracing that and then become creating another life form, another like ecosystems, and never die. That's why there's a cycle of an ecosystem continually going because of that. So it's kind of extended idea right now. What I'm working, still processing. I'm not finished, but I have a couple pieces here, as this large pieces and then that pieces, and then those small one over here. I made a small pieces first because that's become my sample pieces because I want to find out what kind of technique I'm going to use for a better image or bigger image, and how I'm going to portray the idea in my head coming out from it. I do make a lot of sketch and a photograph, but also I do make a lot of small samples first. It's the same thing with all my work. When I'm making my mask pieces, I was making a lot of small masks too, just see how they're gonna work together.
Definitely. And you had a term that you used, roping? Is it?
Coil.
Coil,
It's a
excuse me.
coil pieces, as you can see. The symbols is right here. You can actually see the coil lines. This is kind of hard to see, but one of those the black pieces. When you flip it, you can actually see the inside better.
Oh, yes. So.
Yeah.
Right,
So.
you can get a shot of that. I don't know if.
So, and also that's kind of showing the actual kind of shape of a tree, kind of design.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this actually the idea is from tree brawl. When you look at the tree, there's a little nuts growing, and then it's type of a cancer for them. But somehow these trees kind of embracing it and kind of it's a cancer form, it's an illness. We can just cut off or die with it. But somehow these trees just growing together. And then they continue their living together, kind of coexisting together. It's not like a parasite. It could be parasite, but somehow they're coexisting. And then, to my viewpoint, creating very beautiful form. It's sometimes I have a few photos, like from the images from the far, it looks like pregnant woman. Things like that. So I got that image, and then I started making all these coil pieces. I don't know how this thing gonna work, but it's the same thing. Right now, our living politically, physically, or personally have a lot of physical illness and mentals and other issues that influence me and us, and how we're going to deal with that, how I'm going to deal with that. And we can just, this is a cancer, so we can just cut off, or we can better from that. But that's very violent towards my body and towards our society. Or we can kind of embrace it. But if we do that, I will be in pain because that's the pain's right there if you're embracing, because you try to embracing a foreign object in your body, something that you are not familiar, something that you don't know anything about it, and you have to kind of work with it. I don't know how other people cope this kind of idea, but this is how I want to, or how I'm dealing it right now. Try to, rather than just cut off or kill them, or annihilate that, or rather than try to be friends with it, try to understand with it, try to embracing. I'm keep using that same words, embracing, but coexist, and then create a new habitat for each other's. Maybe in the future that help us grow better, grow bigger, or grow beautifully.
All of the above, absolutely.
Yes. I'm dealing with this one right now in that way.
Well, one of our greatest teachers, nature, and you referred earlier of, so there's a cancer, there's something taking place, and it seems what nature's doing, what the tree is doing, instead of rejecting, it is embracing, and that we're all part of the same being, if you would, the tree. We know trees are alive, but there's just so many abilities that trees have, that plants have, that we just kind of take for granted. But to make that switch, and that's a big one. And it sounds like for us it's a big one. It's probably more like the knee-jerk, let's get rid of this, the circumstance, as opposed to, well, how can we work with this? Like you said, be friends.
Yeah. I mean, we can, some point, in some injuries, it's better to cut off, and you can heal from there. That could be the solution. But sometimes that may be not the solution. And especially our society right now, that may be not the solution. I mean, a lot of people maybe want that. And because of that, creating a lot of negative energy. I'm trying to be careful here because I can be influenced people. It is being an artist. We get influenced by our societies and outside of the world, but also we are the influence them. So my piece of artwork can influence them. So especially right now, I'm kind of careful about that because we have already too many influence.
So true.
So if I want to influence something, I want to positive. I want to influence hope. I want to influence the beautiful things rather than all the negative, I mean, we already have an ongoing war right now, and the people talking about World War III already, because the happening in Ukraine and the Russias and how many other countries that involved. And as we have Gaza situations, Israel's, and they are already starting the war with the Lebanon. So it's happening.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. So, but also when you look at the biggest scale, I feel like I'm such a I don't know what to do. I cannot, my influence can be nothing because it's anyway happening, no matter what I'm doing. But what I can do right now, just controlling or just bring the positive energy just for myself. I want to just take care of myself. If everybody can take care of their self, their emotion, their whatever they're going through, maybe that one adding the another one, it's just like a drop of water. So when one drop, it is one drop. But when the second drop, adding on the one drop of water, is still one drop of water. And then when you keep adding in and adding in, it could be a river, it can be the ocean. So
Very true.
that's what I'm trying to focus right now. Try to deal my own emotion and my own feeling and try to be a good citizen. And it maybe influence other people, be a good citizen.
Absolutely, yeah. And you get a chance to do some of this like we were talking about earlier before we started today is that these emotions, and you've already been doing that, is your work kind of shows what the inspiration is, what the feelings are, and it comes out in the various work that you do, the styles, the different specialties, I guess, if you want to move into something like that.
Well, I'm not gonna say it's my specialty, because every artist or every people have their own way to dealing their emotion, and especially a lot of artists, that's how they dealing their artwork. Because yes, sometimes it could be some unconscious things coming out, but mostly they're dealing with their own issue with their artwork. So I cannot really speak other artists, but that's how I see, and then that's how I make my pieces in that way.
Earlier you talked about pain, and it's kind of a little stretch, but pain could also be considered crisis for what's going on here. But in some languages, crisis also means opportunity. So it's taking that pain and how can I create a new opportunity? And it sounds like that's for yourself, possibly with other artists too, is again that expression of here's what I'm feeling, here's how I can kind of release that and work with that pain. It becomes an opportunity.
So I mentioned earlier about this tree bro with the the type of cancer form for the tree. I have one of my very close friend passed away last year. It's exactly year now. After her death, I do not know why I was keep the drawing into this tribal. And I have to think about it because if I was drawn to something, there is some root cause. It's not something I consciously picking that one. I was keep taking a photo of that, keep touching the pieces. When I was hiking the wood, I was like standing this one tree, keep looking at it, and come home and sketch it, and then making these pieces. And then I had a realization because my friend Mary, she died with cancer. And then I want to, I guess, another way to honoring her. She had a great fight, 3 years. So this is not my way to dealing with that loss, one way, or my pain. I'm only 50, and I'm already experiencing my closest people I know who suffering a lot of cancers and stuff like that. I guess it's become more personal to me, and it's become, my personal pain. So making these pieces also, I can have more peace with her. Absence. I'm not sure that's the right word, but so I can deal with her not here. And I really want to honor her 3 years fight because they found her illness right beginning of COVID. And then she had to submit herself to hospital. And, it's dealing with your illness, one thing, but by herself. I mean, me and our friend and her family, her husbands and her daughter, we were just waving hand at the parking lot at her. I mean, her room was like a 4th or 5th floors, and we cannot really see her, but we know where's her window, so we're just waving the hand. But that's all. But she lived through 3 years, so this is how I'm dealing with it right now. And I kind of talk about earlier it's not just our physical, like as a cancer cell, as an illness, but it could be our societies have some kind of cancer can hurting the illness of our society. I kind of mix together. So to me, it's pretty much the same. One is very personal, very physical, very much my pain. And the other one is a little bit bigger as a society. And then we do have a cancer in our society. And we do need to deal with those cancer and those illness. It could be something very simply fixed from being whatever our peoples in some power, or it could be like something we try to fix entire human history. We just never found a solution yet, but we keep working towards to that kind of cancers or illness. And then, however, all that, it's our life. The way how tree embrace it, the way how our ecosystem embracing. So death is not just death. The violence is not just that. Like an apple tree, you graft that. You cut off your limb and adding 14 limbs, 14 branch, and you're creating new variety of apple. That's amazing. The willow tree, when you want to transport a willow tree to the different, you just cut off the limb and stick into the streams and grow. I mean, it's like amazing. But we need to like somehow embracing that to our society, because those two foreign objects can come together, create a new beautiful apple. So it's this trees, nursing trees, nursing log, it's die, but beautiful butterfly can come out from there. And then it's a cancer cell, but it may be, some people may see that as a not beautiful thing. This is kind of a flaw. Some people see that way, but the strong, powerful life behind there. We have to see that, and that's our. I'm a Christian, so that's when the God created this world. It's perfect. He was satisfied what he created. What do you mean? All these negative cancers and all that stuff, still we need it, and we just learned how to cope from the beautiful creation God created. And then maybe we can have a little bit better world because of that, rather than keep fighting.
And again, your work here really demonstrates that, of you're taking something that is like the falling bark, and seeing new sprouts come up, new different species comes up. It's not necessarily the same kind of tree. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I lived in Yakima for a while, and I got to see every fall different parts of a farm. That's the entire thing they do. They cut off some stem and use some kind of, not adhesive, but some kind of chemical kind of thing. Looks like the cover up the other area so you won't die from the cutting, and then putting the new completely different stem, and then coming out different variety of apple. I mean, it's like amazing. We learn that from the natures, and we creating and enriching our life, like making different variety of apples, and the farmers creating new species, not much species, but new apples, and they make money, and then that helped their family to grow, and we learn that from the natures, from simple apple tree. Why can we use that to ourselves? And of course, it taking a while. I just learned this phrase: you can pass your physical genetic, but you cannot pass your what you learn. Because you cannot pass what you learn, the education you got, to your next generation. So in other words, in order to pass what we learned for the knowledge I have right now, we have to educate them. The education, it takes time and energy. So, and we may have to a little more patient.
Wonderful quality, yes.
Because, like I said, genetic, you can pass on very easily. But what you learn from your life or our history, it takes time. You cannot just pass them automatically.
Although with that, just would you agree that with many cultures, it's storytelling that perpetuates maybe the learning or the experience, what that person has gone through, let's say, and kind of passing it down that way. But like you said, maybe in the brain itself, it's not the DNA, yes, but not so much the knowledge, I suppose. But the storytelling, one way of perpetuating ideas. And
well, my artwork is another way to educating the public. Is another way to telling them my story. So whoever viewing my work may experience similar thing, what I'm experiencing, or something what I learned from the nature, the tree. Maybe they can learn, not necessarily want to learn, but they can maybe, they can share the thought processing. So like your show like this is, to my viewpoint, is a very important kind of show because as being an artist, we don't really have many outlets to do this kind of thing. And when we show our work, it's like a very brief moment to the audience because the viewer, they come, they walk through the gallery, they may spend maybe 1 or 2 minutes, or sometimes they don't even see, and then they go. And then it's okay. I'm not any sad about that. I'm glad somebody actually come to see my work.
Definitely.
But this is the kind of way I can actually talk about what I try to tell my story to the audience. And then somehow I have a captive audience right now. So, and you are my captive audience. If we ever gonna see my work, or my show today, our show today, either like TV or YouTube, they are my captive audience.
Definitely.
So this is another way to, quote unquote, passing my knowledge instead passing my genetic.
Great point. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, this piece, they're all fascinating, but the one that you did here too, I know you talked a little bit about it, but coming back to that you really captured something here of what you talked about here of cancer. So
this pieces is kind of start from the tree bro, and then I start to studying more cancer image, the photographs. When you actually look at the cancer image, it's beautiful. I'm sorry, but it's colorful, all kind of shapes, and I try to have that image on my pieces. So I have strong colors, and because my surface already have a lot of textures, so I try to give that edginess. Before pandemic, I had a show for breast cancer awareness. It was about 20 female artists got together, and we did all different type of artwork, collage, painting, and potters. So that time, I studied some cancer cell. I want to study the image, not necessarily what they do to us. Yes. I mean, we kind of know what they're doing to us. However, so I've been studying more lately, so I can actually have that image. So this is my latest work. Try embracing the cancer cell, like the physical, like a cell image on the tree bro, the image I made. So that's why. So that piece is a much earlier work, and then this piece is my later work. And I don't usually use a lot of strong color, but as you see, my mask have a very colorful too, and then this one also colorful. But to my viewpoint, when you need some contrast or accentuating some work, sometimes you need to use a lot of colors, some strong colors, or so I think, I don't know, it's come out like that right now.
pretty interesting. You know, you were talking about these pieces earlier too, of these are kind of like mini models of or samples of, so you're talking about expanding the coiling, and what kind of size do you have in mind?
So, so far, my limit is my cume size.
There you go. Be practical.
Yeah, I have to be practical, or I have to build a section. But my image, my idea right now, I'm going to have a slight bigger size of this one, and then I want to learn basket weaving. lot of so maybe it's not much of a basket sake, but I want to have kind of center my clay pieces and kind of surrounding
Oh,
with
yeah.
some kind of basket with
Yeah.
I don't want to use yarn or that kind of object. I want to actually use the tree branches or, the things you make basket. But those can be very. I want a more kind of branch kind of looking. I was more thinking willow branch or something
Wow.
like that. But I have to learn how to weave the basket first. I have experience before working with a little bamboo stick and or what was that? Astral branch? What about the common basket weaving material? The branch? My brain is not working right now. So I made before some small basket just the sake of a learning technique. Sometimes I use those kind of technique in my clay work too. So, but now I really, if I'm gonna make these pieces more workable, I'm probably gonna need a whole wall with that kind of bigger image. That's my plan right now. So.
In fact, speaking to the baskets at Evergreen College locally, just last week at the Longhouse, they did have training and classes for weaving. So it was cedar strips that they were using, but they also had some with pine needles. So they're, like you say, branches, a variety of. And it sounds like so there's going to kind of be a frame for your ceramic piece.
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
like, it's like in the sun, how the flare
Right.
of the
Yeah.
sun.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
that's a whole kind of concept. It's my clay mask, and then the branches. It's not like color, bright color like a sun, but it's. That's my image right now. It could be changed, but that's it developed differently than later.
Kind of
And
experiment.
whatever the influence I get from the personally or publicly or whatever, it may change too. So, but that's my future process right now. And the same thing with my mask. I'm trying to do my mask pieces. I'm trying to do a traveling show. So it means you go different city or different gallery showing same pieces work. So I'm working with a different gallery right now. And usually it's taking time. Actually, I sold one of the pieces from the last my show, but I was asking the person who bought my work when I'm featuring the different place, I can borrow from their work, and
Nice.
then
Yeah.
or I can just create a new work for it. So it will be
Definitely.
fine in that way.
Looking forward to that. I'm going to wrap it up for today, but really moving forward, can we do this again? And
Sure.
with your new work, you'll probably have some pieces at that point. And I know we've also been talking about something to support other artists in Olympia. So, bringing, and it might be here in the studio, could be in other circumstances, but looking forward to that collaboration and getting a chance to bring the artistic community together. But
Okay.
thank you ever so much for today.
Thank you very much for having me here. This is a great opportunity.
So we'll close if that's okay with you. And thank you for tuning in. And as you hear, a few different ways to see this show will be Channel 22, Public Access Television, TC Media, and then at some juncture will be YouTube. And look forward to having another show and with some of the other folks that you've introduced me to. John Campbell's in the building, so hopefully we'll be seeing his face maybe next month.
Okay.
But thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.